I finally dumped my girlfriend of 5 years after she forced me to open our relationship. It feels very emasculating telling this, but here we go. Me, 25 male, and me ex-girlfriend, 24 female, have been together for 5 years and everything was great until she got a new job. She quickly became friends with a girl at her job named Jessica. Jessica has an open relationship. She somehow made my girlfriend interested in it, and every day my ex-girlfriend would tell me how great it would be for us and how we would meet other people, etc. I always told her how I felt, and how I didn't want to be with any other woman, and just the image in my head of her being with someone else would destroy me. Anyway, we had multiple conversations about it until the beginning of this year when she gave me an ultimatum. She told me we either open our relationship or we were done. I don't know what I was thinking, but out of fear of losing her I agreed. It didn't take long for her to find a casual partner. She went out with a not-so-close friend of mine. She slept at his mom's house and apparently he took her to work in the morning. I was so confused, I kept asking myself what I did wrong. When she came back to our house I didn't want to talk to her and I avoided her every time I could. But at that point I probably knew it was over. I lost all my intimacy cravings for her. I felt disgusted by her. It took me a couple of weeks to look her in the eye again. She went out with him a few more times in a period of 6 or 7 months. We never had made love without protection on, and every single time she would whine about how I wouldn't make love with her without protection and how I was making her feel like a dirty word that starts with W and ends with or. Anyway, about a month ago, I started going to the gym and I met a really nice girl and we started talking. After a few weeks exchanging messages we went out, and it finally hit me, that I don't need to be in a toxic relationship, that I don't need to agree with everything she says just because she wants to. I was ready to finally get over with this mess. I waited her to get home from work and I told her I wanted to break up and told her to leave my house as soon as possible. For my surprise she didn't freak out. She didn't even cry and try to manipulate me like she'd usually do. It's been 6 days now as I write this. I'm still waiting for the sadness to settle in, but I just feel relieved it's finally over. I'm still pretty confused about all of this and I just wanted to share it with someone.
You know, his problem was that he had no confidence in himself. He had no boundaries. He was weak. At the end, he did recognize his weaknesses and his flaws, where he put this woman on a pedestal. He was coming at it from a place of scarcity. Like he felt like he wouldn't be able to get anyone else, that she's everything to him, that he needs her, that he can't be without her or else he has no one else. That's the problem, where if you have a boundary, a preference, a standard, and you compromise it, well, at the end of the day, only you will suffer from it, because you will feel like, because if you had a boundary, whatever, standard, all this stuff, right? It was important to you at the beginning, but you compromise it for someone that I guess that you had feelings for, but it still didn't hit those, the boundaries and all this, the standards and all this stuff, right? You will regret it. You will wonder why things are happening the way they are, because you let things slide, and sometimes you can, right? But I'm saying it depends on how extreme or how, a must these preferences, these standards, these boundaries are to you. It's level. Like, let's say if a woman has to be low body count, like 100% has to be, but you found this woman that's amazing, but she has a billion body, like 1,000 bodies under her. It's going to always nag at you because you had such a conviction. That's the thing, right? Where if you have a conviction, stick with it, because at the end of the day, it's only going to hurt you. She found that this man was weak, that he was a pushover, that he pedalized her, right? That he felt like, she knew that he felt that he can't do without her. So she took it upon herself to push his boundaries, push, any kind of ideals he had. And she took advantage of it. And sometimes when people see that they take advantage of someone else, they will take it. It's a sad part of relationship and maybe human nature, where if they feel like they could get the best situation they can, right? Have a provider and have other men that tickles their fancy, they're going to take it. But at the end of the day, you will be the only one hurting. So it's better off that you stick with your boundaries and shift through the crap than, break your boundaries and live with crap. That's just it. I also want to say, I won't hold accountability to this man. You weren't forced to do it. Because if there wasn't a gun to your head, I don't believe in force. We have autonomy. We have freedom on our own actions. Yes, she put an ultimatum, but at the end of the day, if you had, you know, confidence in yourself, right? Balls, a backbone, a spine, right? You would not bend. It's, again, you have accountability of your own actions. You don't control others, but you have accountability of yourself. You can control yourself. You weren't forced. This is where men, maybe even women too, yeah, both. Don't being forced is literally your life. If it's either your life or whatever else, that's force, right? No other choice. We have to take we have to take accountability. He felt that he couldn't do without her. So at the end of the day, he left himself with no choice. When in actuality, he had a choice to just walk away. Find that backbone, find that courage, see that, you know what, you can do better, or, you don't have to deal with it. You don't have to deal with this person who's hurting you, who's mistreating you. You don't. This is why it's like you're making yourself out to be a victim. This is the problem where a lot of people, they feel like they have no choice, but in actuality you do. But you feel like you have no choice to see that maybe you're the victim, you're weak, you can't do nothing else. It's just more victimhood, when you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that to yourself, and you don't have to promote that notion of victimhood. And I want people to be to have more strength in themselves, right? More confidence in themselves, or at least that if they believe that they deserve better, then fine. Make that belief known. Walk away. Don't let yourself be in a situation where you see yourself as having no choice. So he wasn't forced to get into an open relationship. He chose it. Right? She gave him an ultimatum, and he chose to be in an open relationship. He should have just walked away.